You're walking down an empty street at night. A figure appears half a block ahead, walking toward you. You don't know this person. You will likely never see them again. And yet, in less than half a second, your chest tightens. Your pace shifts. Your eyes lock onto their hands. This isn't paranoia. This is design. Your brain just ran a calculation it has been running for hundreds of thousands of years, and it ran it without asking your permission. Here's the strange part. You're not in danger. Statistically, this stranger is almost certainly harmless, but your body doesn't know that. It's not responding to this moment. It's responding to every moment like it, stretching back through generations you never met, to ancestors who lived or died based on how fast they could answer one question. Friend or threat? Call it the stranger effect. It's the reason your skin prickles in an elevator with someone unfamiliar. It's the reason your voice changes when you talk to someone new versus someone you've known for years. It's the reason entire cities of 7 million people can feel lonelier than a village of 200. To understand why, you have to go back. Not centuries, hundreds of thousands of years. For most of human history, you didn't live among strangers. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar spent decades studying the size of human social groups, and his research points to a strikingly consistent number, roughly 150. That's the number of people your brain seems built to actually know, not recognize. Know. Their names, their moods, their reputations, who they trusted, who they didn't. That number is now called Dunbar's number, and it isn't arbitrary. It maps almost perfectly onto the size of hunter-gatherer bands anthropologists have studied across the world. Small, tight, known. In a group that size, everyone you encountered had a history, a face you'd seen 1,000 times, a name attached to a story. There was no such thing as a true stranger. If someone unfamiliar did appear at the edge of camp, that was an event. It meant something. It meant pay attention. So your brain built a shortcut. Unfamiliar face equals possible danger. Familiar face equals safety. This wasn't prejudice. It was survival math, run by a species with no police, no hospitals, no way to undo a mistake. Fast forward to now. You don't live in a band of 150. You live in a world of 8 billion. You pass more unfamiliar faces before 9 a.m. than your ancestors saw in a lifetime. Your brain hasn't caught up. Every stranger on the subway, every new coworker, every voice on a customer service call is technically a possible threat. Event running through ancient circuitry that was never built for this volume. No wonder cities feel exhausting. No wonder small talk with strangers takes effort. You are running prehistoric software on a population that grew 1,000-fold. Here's where it gets stranger still. In the 1960s, social psychologist Stanley Milgram, the same researcher famous for his controversial obedience experiments, turned his attention to something quieter. What he called the experience of living in cities. Milgram theorized that urban dwellers develop something he termed stimulus overload. Too many unfamiliar people, too many unfamiliar interactions force the brain to ration its attention. So city dwellers, Milgram observed, often appear cold or distant to outsiders. Not because they don't care, because caring about every face would be biologically unsustainable. This is the stranger effect at city scale. Your brain isn't broken. It's protecting itself from a flood it was never designed to process. But the effect goes deeper than just crowds. It shapes how fast you trust. Psychologist Alexander Todorov at Princeton ran a now-famous series of studies on first impressions. He found that people form judgments about a stranger's trustworthiness in under 1/10 of a second. 1/10. Faster than you can finish reading this sentence. Faster than conscious thought. Todorov's research showed something unsettling. Giving people more time to look at a face didn't significantly change the verdict. The snap judgment and the considered judgment came out nearly identical. Your brain isn't waiting for more information. It already decided. The rest of you is just catching up. Why would evolution favor a brain that judges so fast with so little data? Because for most of human history, hesitation was the expensive option. If a stranger approaching your camp was a threat, the cost of waiting to gather more information could be your life. If they were friendly, the cost of an instant, slightly rude judgment was small. Evolution doesn't optimize for fairness. It optimizes for survival math. And fast, biased judgment beats slow, accurate judgment almost every time. So you walk around today carrying a brain that still runs that ancient equation. Every unfamiliar face gets scanned in milliseconds. Every new voice gets measured before you've consciously decided to measure it. This explains something else, too. Why first impressions feel so disproportionately powerful, even when you know, rationally, that they shouldn't be trusted. You meet someone at a party, and within seconds you've decided whether you like them. You meet a new manager, and your gut reacts before they've said a single sentence about how they'll treat you. That gut reaction isn't really about them. It's about an ancient filter, running silently. The same filter that once decided whether the person at the edge of camp was kin or danger. There's a flip side to all this, and it might be the most important part. The stranger effect isn't just fear. It's also why familiarity feels like relief. Psychologists call this the mere exposure effect, a phenomenon studied extensively by Robert Zajonc in the 1960s. Zajonc found that simply being repeatedly exposed to something, a face, a sound, a stranger glimpsed at the same coffee shop, made people rate it as more likable over time. No new information was needed, no conversation, just repetition. This is why the stranger on day one of a new job feels tense, and the same person by week 3 feels like a colleague you actually enjoy seeing. Nothing about them changed. What changed is that your ancient threat detection system finally filed them under known. The fear dissolved not because you learned they were safe, but because your brain ran out of reasons to keep flagging them as new. Think about what this means for how you move through the world today. Every uncomfortable elevator ride. Every awkward first day. Every wave of unease in a crowded room of unfamiliar faces. None of it is a flaw in you. It's a 100,000-year-old alarm system, still wired for a world of 150 known faces, doing its best to make sense of a world of strangers. And maybe that reframes the discomfort. The tightness in your chest around someone new isn't malfunction. It's memory. A memory older than language, older than agriculture, older than cities, still running quietly underneath everything you call instinct. So tonight, when you pass someone unfamiliar on the street, and your body tenses for half a second before your mind catches up, you're not overreacting. You're remembering.